As we head into worship together, hang on, I'm just going to switch my screen here. Let's turn our hearts and our minds to worship now. In our messages in this series, we are examining a series of transformative values that are based on Rich Viola's book, The Deeply Formed Life: 5 Transformational Values to Root Us in the Way of Jesus. And as we begin worship each week, I'd also like to introduce some ways that we can practice our faith throughout the week. We meet for an hour of inspiration, community, worship on Sundays, but there are another 67 hours in a week during which we can continue to grow. Following a lesson on reducing fractions or writing persuasive arguments, my students practice their learning as they become proficient. We don't go for one jog around the block and immediately run a marathon the next day. And just because we've heard a message on a Sunday morning doesn't mean that we are going to inspire the world with our spirituality or that we will live a sinless life from there on in. It's helpful to have things to practice that will deepen our devotion to God and form Christ's likeness in us. This morning, the practice that I would like for us to focus on is something that's called a breath prayer. This week in a group text, a friend asked for prayer regarding some anxiety that she was experiencing. And one of the girls in the thread suggested or encouraged her just to breathe. And that reminded me of this practice. And I'm going to rely rather heavily on author Sarah Bessey's work here. It's a practice that can really help us in our life of faith. In the beginning, God breathed life into humans. He came close enough to do so. His mouth to ours. He is as close as our breath. Breath prayer is an ancient form of meditation or prayer that quiets us for a moment and can bring peace and insight. Using just 1 or 2 lines, we inhale and we exhale repeatedly, as a line as we inhale and a line as we exhale. As we enter into worship, we're going to try it together. And we would encourage you to work this into your own practice this week. Since we focused on abiding in the vine last week and Jesus as the true vine from John chapter 15, let's make that our focus. And so I invite you to close your eyes, to sit comfortably. You can rest your hands on your lap if that feels comfortable to you, or not if it doesn't. At home, make sure you are in a position in which you can draw deep breaths. Be aware of your body and imagine yourself in a safe place, in a favorite place. Call to mind its sights and its smells, the sounds, until you feel that you are in that safe place, in that sanctuary. And from that safe place, that is where we enter into this time of meditation and prayer. And so draw in a deep breath, thinking and praying these words: true vine and gardener. And then exhale, breathe out: I abide in you. Inhale, true vine and gardener. Exhale, I abide in you. Continue to inhale and exhale, repeating the prayer about 10 times over. You are as near to us, loving God, as the breath in our lungs. We breathe you in We breathe you out. Bless the Lord, O my soul. We worship your holy name. Sing like never before, O my soul. We worship your holy name. Amen. And let's continue in worship.